Am I the asshole for letting my boyfriend tell a friend to find her own ride home from the beach? Took a friend to the beach after she'd been begging to go. She brought no money, ate our food, drank my alcohol, then disappeared to make out with 2 random guys. We stopped our day to look for her, made eye contact, and got ignored. She has a pattern of flaking, mooching, and crossing boundaries, like commenting on my looks, smacking my butt, and getting upset when I didn't want her sleeping in my bed. My boyfriend's always been uncomfortable with how clingy she is with me. When she finally showed back up, he told her she could ride with the guys she was with since she clearly wasn't with us. She started crying, and he still told her she could ride back with us, but it's not fair for her to disappear and treat us like a free ride. She chose to leave and turned her location off. Now she's acting like we abandoned her. Am I the asshole? Or we rather? Did no one read the whole post? Op and her boyfriend took it back and said they'd give her a ride. They just found what she did that day to be shitty. In response to being told her actions sucked, she left and turned location off, which meant Op couldn't find her. That's pretty much her decision ATP, as Op had already spent a decent part of the day looking for her. And Op called her to make sure she had ended up home safe. Not the asshole. Why are you friends with this person? Not the asshole. You said that after she got upset your boyfriend said she could ride back with you guys, but that it was unfair that she was treating you guys like a free ride. She then chose to leave and turn off her location. So, yes, you would have been the asshole for telling her to find her own way home and leaving her there, but it sounds like you guys relented and still were going to give her a ride, just expressed how unfair the way she was treating you was, and then she chose not to take the ride and turned off any way you had of locating her. Not the asshole, and I think it's time you seriously re-evaluate this friendship before she asks for another favor. Not the asshole. She did use you for a free ride and drinks. He didn't actually leave her stranded. She's an adult, I assume, and made her choices. If you take someone someplace, you make sure you bring them back. Unless they make some other arrangements. Even when they are Oz. Am I the asshole for getting the other kids sugary drinks when she isn't allowed one? It was my 18, little sister, 13's birthday. Our parents and her friend's parents asked me and my girlfriend, 17, who is one of the kids' sister, to take them to the cinema. So we did. After getting the tickets, I went to buy the drinks. Asked them what they all want. 2 Fuse teas, 1 slushie and 1 Coca-Cola. Got around to the final kid who looked a bit sad. She said her mom doesn't let her drink sugary drinks. Then she pointed at a shelf where there are small boxes of unsweetened almond milk, saying that those are okay. So I got one of those for her. My girlfriend later said I shouldn't have gotten the other kids drinks she wanted to try but wasn't allowed to, and that it was insensitive. Not the asshole. The kid spoke up for herself, didn't fall to peer pressure, and did what she knows she's been told to do. A conversation for that kid and her mom to sort out. Not the asshole. The worst thing you can do to a child's social life is to make their limitations everyone else's problem. It's one thing if it's natural allergy, like you don't give one kid peanuts and the other kid's gonna die. But you can absolutely guess who's not going to be invited if their parents limit everyone else's choices. Nah, you offered, which was the right thing to do. The child whose parents don't allow sugary drinks obeyed her parents, which was the right thing to do. Everyone seemingly behaved exactly as they should have. You absolutely should not prevent the other kids from having the drinks they want. All that would have done is made every other kid resent the one who is preventing them from drinking what they want. This would only isolate the last girl even more. If the last girl really wants to try sugary drinks and is upset at not being allowed to have them, that is something between her and her parents that you don't want to meddle with. Not the asshole. You gave her what she asked for, and causing a scene about nobody getting drinks would be way worse. She's 13. If her mom was just being dramatic about sugar, she would probably have just asked for a soda while away from home. Since she didn't, she probably understands why she shouldn't have them. Pre-diabetic or other medical conditions exist in 13-year-olds, even if she might not want her friends to know. Not the asshole. She had the choice to get whatever she wanted. She chose to follow her mom's expectations. Not the asshole, and honestly that kid is awesome. She was sad of course, or possibly embarrassed, but she certainly didn't sound like she expected special treatment from the group just because she couldn't have something. That's more than most adults these days. You don't know her reasons, you have no idea if it's just helicopter parenting or she has an issue with sugar. She handled it very maturely and you did good by sticking by her decision. Am I the asshole for refusing to share my umbrella with a girl? So I, 19F, study in a college where we have to walk a lot between buildings. Today, out of nowhere, it started raining really hard. I had my tiny foldable umbrella in my bag and pulled it out. There's this girl, 20F, in my class who constantly mocks me, my clothes, my handwriting, even my water bottle. She once called it village core aesthetic. We've never had a decent interaction. She's always loud and surrounded by her group, always has something sarcastic to say about me. I mostly ignore it. Anyway, today as I was opening my umbrella, she ran up to me and said, "Hey, share car lead hi. Ways be jaga hi." Translation. Hey, move a bit. There is space. I just looked at her and said, "Sorry, it's small," and walked away. I could literally hear her say, "Bitch," under her breath. Later, in class, some of her friends said I was heartless and mean for not sharing in an emergency. But I'm sorry. I'm tired of being treated like garbage and then expected to be generous. It's not like she was stranded in a jungle. It was just rain. Am I the asshole? Some of her friends said I was heartless and mean for not sharing in an emergency. Rain is not an emergency. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She doesn't get to spend all her spare time mocking you, then expect kindness in the rain. Not the asshole. Actions have consequences and she is not made of sugar, she'll live. Demanding a stranger you make fun of to move from under their own umbrella is bonkers, not the asshole. Not the asshole. If she wanted you to help her, then maybe she shouldn't bully you. Getting wet isn't an emergency. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for not cashiering the kitchen for my son? Throw away blah blah. I grew up Orthodox Jewish, but it wasn't the lifestyle for me and I left while remaining very culturally Jewish. My husband is Jewish and I raised our children to be very in touch with their cultural identity, sent them to Jewish schools and sleepaway camps, but don't really practice the religion in terms of keeping the Sabbath, following the dietary laws, etc. Our son is 19 and has, over the past 2 years, become pretty religious. He spends the Sabbath with friends, which is fine with us. We have tried to compromise on the dietary laws by purchasing kosher meat, poultry for him, not mixing meat and dairy, etc. We live in an area with a large Jewish community and he has carte blanche to use Apple Pay to buy himself whatever food he wants. Because I grew up in the community, I know the rules and do the best I can for him while not limiting myself to a culture that I chose to leave. I recently found out from one of my other kids that he is annoyed that we haven't converted one of our ovens, we have 2, into a kosher oven for his use, or purchased separate dishes for him, etc. Sibling was like, "Did you ask mom and dad to do any of this?" Son was like, "No. Mom grew up with all of this, so she definitely knows what I need and is choosing not to do it." Sibling pointed out he can't be mad if he doesn't ask, while AL significant other pointing out that son is 19 and that this is our house and if he's that pressed he can get his own place and do what he wants. Fact is, I don't want to. I cook and bake a lot. I like having 2 ovens. I don't want to relive the exhaustion of a kosher, semi-kosher, kitchen, though I could. Am I the asshole for not accommodating my son's religious beliefs to the best of my ability rather than a baseline level? Does he have a job? If he's willing to purchase his own cooking equipment and give up his unlimited Uber Eats, maybe get him a dedicated kosher toaster oven. He needs to get some skin in the game. At 19 he's too old to play the "mom needs to do all these things for me" card. Plus he'll have his own stuff for when he moves out. Not the asshole. He is delegating the work of keeping kosher onto you. If those are his beliefs, he should do the work and buy the necessary cooking equipment and plates. Not the asshole. If there is space, your son could have an air fryer, mini fridge, and separate crockery that he pays for. Otherwise, he can continue to be as unharmed by the food at home as he had been for the last 19 years. Not the asshole. If keeping kosher is important to him, he can man up and talk to you about it. He can come up with a plan and ask for your support. You may not be inclined to give him everything he wants, but it's on him to find a workaround. And he can also talk to his rabbi about getting a dispensation from keeping kosher or doing it in a modified way. When I lived in Berkeley, there were a number of students who did kosher meal prep at an industrial kosher kitchen. They paid a small fee to use the space and just brought their own ingredients. The service was supervised by a rabbi and the students were able to keep kosher. I knew a girl who did her prep every 2 weeks. She mostly did Shabbos with other students. Not the asshole. Your son is an adult and can move out and keep his own kosher kitchen, as his younger sibling pointed out. Your house, your rules, or non-rules. If he wants these things, the least he could do is have a conversation with you.